Hey, football fans, happy Thanksgiving, and welcome back to another episode of Lions Latest, the show where we gather around and talk about the greatest team in the NFL, the Detroit Lions. I'm your host, Bryan Hanes, and we have just a few more things to talk about before the Thanksgiving game today, so let's jump into the video. Start with the Packers. So, we've talked about what we've said about the Packers, what our players have been preparing for, but what have the Packers been doing to prepare for us? Well, to think about to get in the head of the Packers right now, we got to think about our past with them, Thanksgiving with them, and honestly, what they've been dealing with this year. Lions quarterback Jared Goff said after Sunday's game, he was headed home to start watching film on the Packers because of the short week. And quarterback Jordan Love said the same thing after the win against the Vikings on Sunday. Green Bay is also playing super good on defense right now. The Vikings mustered just 145 total yards and were 2 of 9 on third down in Green Bay's 23-6 win. Vikings quarterback J.J. McCarthy, who had a 34.2 passer rating, was sacked 5 times and intercepted twice as Minnesota only had 2 field goals on the afternoon. Green Bay currently ranks 5th in points allowed with 18.4, 4th in total defense at 278.7, and their 92 pressures are the 8th most in the NFL. So, if the offense wasn't already something to worry about with guys like Josh Jacobs, Christian Watson, Matthew Golden, the defense is the thing we really have to be worried about. Xavier McKinney said, quote, "I think we have got the one of the best defenses in the league, if not the best. The talent we have here, we have a hell of a DC with Jeff Hafley. He called a great game Sunday, and we went out there and executed. Great DC, great players all coming together. It looks good," end quote. So, yeah, I mean, and without bias, he's not wrong. I mean, their defense does look really good right now, and it is the best part of their game. Love said that the Packers are playing with a ton of confidence right now after back-to-back wins over the Giants and Vikings, but he knows the difficulty of the task at hand with a short week and traveling to Detroit for a Thanksgiving game. He said, quote, "I think they've dealt with some injuries. We have as well, so that's always plays a factor." Love said when he was asked about how he's seen Detroit on film, he also said, quote, "But I don't think there's much, I don't think much has changed with them. It's always a test playing there, obviously. Great environment, very loud environment. We've been there before and we know what it's about. Communication has to be on point. It'll be another test," end quote. And I think he's right. He's getting ready for that kind of environment that is going to have to go down. And I think that's what all the Packers have really been discussing is just kind of playing steady, not getting in their own heads about the environment, how loud it's going to be on that Thanksgiving day. And they're going to have to play as confident, as collected as they have played all year. Packers head coach Matt LaFleur was asked Tuesday if he's noticed a difference at all in Detroit's offense in the last 2 weeks with Dan Campbell calling the plays. LaFleur said nothing has changed from a scheme perspective, but he thinks Dan Campbell has done a nice job getting the ball in the hands of playmakers like St. Brown, Jamison Williams, and Jahmyr Gibbs since the switch. And he's correct with that too. So all in all, the Packers are really just trying to say nothing has really changed with us, that it's going to be just a rematch of week 1. And to that point, I completely and wholeheartedly disagree. I think in the sense that, yeah, we've gotten the ball in our playmakers' hands, absolutely. But that's not just because Dan Campbell took over. We have merged better as a team as a whole. Our offensive line is playing better as a whole. There's just more synergy with our players. I disagree with that. But I think to their point, they're playing such great defense that it's not their biggest concern, right? Their biggest concern is going and putting points up on the board, and that's where our defense is going to have to step in. So I'm excited to see what'll happen. I think now we know what kind of both sides have been doing. Both sides have been preparing. Both sides are getting ready for the other team's best part of their game, and we're just going to have to go and see what happens on this game. I'm very excited to see what'll happen. I always like the Thanksgiving game, and hopefully the Lions can pull out with a W on this one. That actually kind of goes straight into our second topic, where I think this game is actually going to be a bounce back game for David Montgomery of all players. So we know because Gibbs' production this year, he has taken over the number 1 running back spot, and with that, a lot of Montgomery's touches. This could be the game that Montgomery bounces back, though. Last Thanksgiving, he was active. 21 carries for 88 yards and 3 catches for 36 yards. On top of all that, he got his carrot in the post-game Thanksgiving feast. got to get Montgomery his carrot, man. Montgomery had a strong second year overall in Detroit last year, averaging 4.2 yards a carry, scoring 12 touchdowns across 15 games. However, recently, he has even struggled to get to the 40 offensive yards mark in multiple contests. Definitely a dip in production. He is currently in a low-end running back 2/running back 3 fantasy role and has been seeing his playing time decrease every week. After a season high of 18 carries in week 8, his usage has just been inconsistent, and I think this could be a game possibly where we get that consistency back, knowing that we're going to have to get our run game going against this team. And he has a pretty good history against the Packers. David Montgomery against the Packers has some notable successes and some struggles, like in Week 1. Though his overall stats against this teams are strong, including 57 carries for 220 yards and 2 touchdowns in the last 4 games against them, the Packers' rush defense has been a top-ranked unit this year. Montgomery, though, has shown his ability to be effective in the past, and I think that's where we're going to have to rely on him. This year, the Packers have one of the league's best defenses, allowing only 96.5 yards a game, and I'm thinking all eyes are going to be on Gibbs this game, especially after last week against the Giants. And that could really be the chance now for David Montgomery to get some of those sneaky rushes for chunk yardage or possibly touchdown runs. Just because he's a running back 2 currently doesn't mean he's playing like one. He still has the potential to be a running back 1, and I think we all know that. It's just like gold and silver, basically. Both super valuable, but you're going to take the gold in Jahmyr Gibbs. I really see this as a game where he can make some big moves. If they're mostly focused on Jahmyr Gibbs, this could be a chance for him to get mixed in some plays where it's going to look like a pass. Maybe we get him in some halfback draws. Maybe we even get him more involved in the passing game. No one's expecting us to throw it to him that often. And if we can get him set up on some screens, possibly some wheel routes where we get him into coverage on a linebacker, we could see David Montgomery break out and do some great stuff this game. I still think Gibbs is going to be, the majority target because he's our guy and we saw what he did last week, but this could definitely be our chance to maybe confuse the defense and get Montgomery in some plays they're not expecting him to be in. That's what I got on that. I think it's going to be great, and I would love for him to go and pop off, win this game, and get another Thanksgiving carrot, because that's what it's all about, and that's all it is for him, just the love of the game. So that's going to take us to our third topic. Just some more guys getting moved around, more roster moves, more changes, and guys coming back. So the Lions opened 3 roster spots recently. We know about one of them with Arthur Maulet, but it cleared the way for 3 players expected to be active from injury reserve. So Detroit waived defensive lineman Quentin Jefferson, cornerback Nick Whiteside, and Arthur Maulet, like we mentioned. They added defensive back Eric Hallett II back to the practice squad, and this clears the way for the team to activate edge defenders Davenport and Josh Paschal, along with rookie offensive lineman Miles Frazier, who could be a huge addition to our offensive line at this point of the season. Honestly, I'm pretty devastated about Nick Whiteside being waived. I mean, it's kind of silly. I know he wasn't a long-term solution, but man, did that guy play his heart out, especially against the Bucs when he had that heck of a game, multiple defended passes, just great coverage, sticky coverage. I think he's one of those guys who really did step up and showed that you don't need to be a guy, a first-round pick, a second-round pick to make a huge difference in a game with a hurt defense. And I think that's what he put everything on tape there, that he is good enough to play in the league. And I really liked what I saw from him, and I hope that he goes to a team and can get a starting position and pop off. Paschal and Frazier are nearing the end of their 21-day return windows and must be activated or kept on injury list for the rest of the season. Davenport has had more time to spare for his acclimation window, but the Lions still sound hopeful that he's going to return. The Lions have also started Coyote Awisika since starting left guard Christian Mahogany landed on injury reserve. They view Frazier as someone who has the versatility, hoping he can potentially replace Mahogany's efforts as a returning rookie. So again, one of those positions where we're just kind of filling it in now. Miles Frazier has all the potential to come and be one of those starting guys. Paschal has been working through a back injury. He was downgraded to not practicing at Tuesday's walkthrough, so his status remains one to watch for sure. But overall, the former second-round pick was estimated as a full participant on Monday. So it's a little scary going from that to that, but that just means that they're not trying to rush the injury or the recovery. But the Lions have been taking a long-term approach to his recovery, so I can see why it might be taking that long. Dan Campbell said, quote, "It would be big to get him back now. He's talking about Davenport. He's done a lot to get back, the amount of work that he's put in and the amount of rehab. And look, it's not his fault things have happened. All you can do is go back to work and do everything you can to return and get your body healed up and come back better than you were, end quote. And, we like to get Marcus Davenport some crap on this channel just because he is injury prone. But Dan Campbell's absolutely right. It's not his fault he got injured. And the fact that he's even saying he's doing all this rehab, he's doing everything in his power to get back, that shows me that he is doing everything he can. That is showing me that he is putting an effort to want to come back. And that's enough. He's got heart. That's enough for me. I'd love to see him come back, and I'd love to see him make an immediate impact when he's back. I'm sure that would make him happy as well. But that's what we got with people moving around. Hopefully Miles Frazier can be the solution we're hoping for in that position, and hopefully that true edge rushers come back and add some much-needed depth to the edge position. We can get that rotation going, possibly get some more sacks this season. That'll take us to our final topic, just discussing some of your comments. Starting with Azif Jowdhuri, says, happy 100, go Lions. First of all, thank you for that. They say, pluses for the Lions. Ford Field, revenge game. Lions haven't lost twice in a row to the same team in the last 3 years. It's Thanksgiving. Lions have a really good record on Thanksgiving over the last 3 years. Kind of. O-line seemed to play better in the second half in the Giants game, correct. Defenses are playing lights out even in the second half of the Giants game, correct. St. Brown seemed to have been getting better catching again. Yeah, I think that injury is starting to not bother him as much. And special teams seemed to get it together in the Giants game. Yeah, special teams especially is one that I think we just could be doing better, and especially with the return game. And they did look a little better against the Giants, so that is good. Makes me a little happy. Get our offense in a better position to score so they don't have to go 90 or 80, 90 yards for every single drive. I think you're right here. There's a lot of good things to go into consideration here, but as a Lions fan playing on Thanksgiving, I'm not buying into any of it. We'll have to see what happens, but I think you have some good points here, and I think this should get the fellas fired up for this game. Thank you so much for your comment. And finally, Juan Silva says, run, and continue running with Gibbs and Monty, then toss it when needed. Absolutely agree with you. I think with this team, establishing the run is going to be harder than other teams for sure, just because of the unit they have in Green Bay. But I think if we can get the run game established, we can run away with this. I think that has been the big the pattern that has kind of followed us with our run game. Hopefully we can get it. The only thing I don't agree with is tossing the ball every once in a while. I hate toss plays. I absolutely hate them. I think they take too long to develop, and if you don't have a perfect offensive line, someone's going to get back there and disrupt the play. It's almost always a loss of yards, except when you have a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs who can make those cuts, who can get up to speed quicker than anybody else. And for that reason, sure, we'll give Gibbs some tosses. I'll let you have that one. But yeah, I think running the ball is going to be an absolute must. And if we can't get it done, it's going to be on Jared Goff. So hopefully the O-line can get up there and get a lot of things going for us early. Thank you for your comment. With that being said, we are out of time today. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Lions Latest. If you made it to this point in the video, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you never miss a single video. I really appreciate all the love you guys have been sending, and I'd love for you guys to be with me for our next milestone at 5K. So join the fam, stick around, watch some videos, and I hope you guys like what you've been seeing. With that being said, though, happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your food. Enjoy your families. If you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, enjoy the Lions game. But with that being said, I will see you in the next video.